The epicenter of this next great world shift will be right here in America. Now, I must warn you that some of the facts I'm about to tell you may seem incredible, yet they are true. In fact, we've recently passed what I believe to be the point of no return, which means that a crisis is now inevitable and unstoppable. It will start small. Maybe you'll try to get money out of an ATM machine one day and find that it isn't working. Maybe you'll be at a restaurant with your wife, and when the check comes, your credit card will be denied. You call your bank. You get a pre-recorded message from some government agency you don't recognize. As I said, it will start small. And now, I believe we're past the point of no return. When this house of cards collapses, which it will, a systemic shock will disrupt our lives in ways you never thought possible. You will suddenly be locked out of your own bank account, unable to withdraw cash or deposit a check. Your stocks will swing wildly out of control. You won't even be able to access your Social Security money. Like a virus, it will spread to our food supply chain, causing massive shortages in the cities and suburbs. The same thing will happen to our gas network. America's highways will become quiet and empty. And one by one, every service you've come to depend on, from your bank to your grocery store to our federal government, will shut down. You won't be able to get cash, and without cash, you won't be able to buy food or gasoline. And what happens to America then? As a society, we are now more than ever dependent on convenience, on free government services instead of our own hard work, on credit instead of our own hard-earned cash. What happens when people can't use their credit cards? When they can't drive to get their checks because there's no gas? When the only thing you can count on is cash, and no one seems to have any of it? Will you be able to rely on your neighbors, your fellow citizens? Well, lately I'm not so sure. Now I realize that to someone who hasn't been studying this for 35 years, the idea of a serious crisis like that hitting America may not seem possible. After what I'm about to tell you, I think you'll reconsider. Quote, literally, your ATM wouldn't work. You type in your code, no money comes out. You get your paycheck, you can't cash it, close quote. Those are the words of the architect of the 2008 bank bailouts, Treasury Department insider Neel Kashkari. What he's describing is a crisis that you and I came very close to experiencing just a few years ago. If it sounds similar to what I'm describing, it's for a good reason. Former Secretary of the Treasury Tim Geithner has stated, "We came exceptionally close. You could hear the fear and the panic, because anybody living in that world at that time, running a business at that time, knew that we were on the edge of losing the capacity to function." This has been confirmed by former Secretary of the Treasury Hank Paulson, as well as two former congressmen. And while President Obama assured Americans that, quote, the shadow of the crisis has passed in his State of the Union address, I recently came across video footage of Janet Yellen, the current chairwoman of the Federal Reserve, openly admitting that the U.S. is still facing a very real threat. We could find ourselves in a devastating spiral, says Janet Yellen. She goes on to assure everyone that the Federal Reserve is fully in control of the situation, but the truth is that by their own standards, the Fed's policies have not worked. In fact, official records indicate that the highest levels of our government have already spent $4.5 trillion trying to contain this threat, more than we spent on World War II. It's a desperate move, and I don't think they'll be successful.